Good morning. I am getting this out before I even start most of my day because I think it's probably time is of the essence for the person who recently asked about it. The SSA 561, which is for requesting a review on reconsideration. So that's when you've been denied at initial and you want it to be reconsidered. And you can use this for medical denials or some other kind of appeal, like you didn't agree with the monetary figure and your letter said you can appeal and you've got X amount of days, usually 60, but don't hold me to it because I think there is some determinations for review. You might need something less. So always read every line in your letter. Okay, I'm going to link to you the page where you can download the 561. Note that you can often do this right online and you don't have to do it on paper. But for those that are doing it on paper, let's go through it real quick. Something I could. Obviously, at the top of the page, name of claimant, that'd be you. And they ask for your social security number and a claim number if you have one. That's often not something you're easily going to find. I don't even know if that's the BNC number, which we're never clear on what that is exactly, but I see it when it's on initial and recon. Okay. And I think that was maybe so that people didn't have to put their social security number on things. Kind of a protective thing. So it says the issue being appealed is the next question. Specify if retirement, disability, hospital or medical, SSI, SVB, overpayment, etc. So you're going to just kind of be clear on what you're appealing. You don't have to be complicated about it. You can just say overpayment, or you can say, what was the other option? If it's medical, you would be saying disability, medical denial, something like that. Very simple. They're not expecting us to be rocket scientists on this. It's just it is the trigger that gets you into the appeal stage. This is not where you're putting all your defenses. You're not explaining your whole case here. You don't have to attach 5 million things. Okay. Although I would say, if there was missing evidence and you're appealing, you're saying they didn't have this, and this. Now, you're probably not even going to know what they didn't or didn't have. So this is probably not going to work for you. And honestly, I would probably want it to be, if you can get a copy of your medical file from the SSA, and this is a problem for people who are unrepresented because you don't have access to your electronic file, I don't think. I don't think you have it in your login.gov now or your ID.me. But if I stand corrected if you guys find out otherwise, because I have not even been into my login.gov thing yet. I tried. Remember, we were telling you that SSA has told us that nobody's going to be able to get into what little part you guys can get into, and us lay people into our own files, short amount of evidence or paperwork, digital paperwork we can see in there, that was going away, and we had to go through login.gov or ID.me. I procrastinated because it makes me nervous. But I did go in. I tried last week. I have a password and everything. It gets me into my profile, which is just me and my address and stuff like that. And I see nothing that says, hey, if you need your SSA information. So I'm like, what am I supposed to be looking for? I don't see anything. There are no links. There's nothing. So I will try again, but so far I'm not really pleased. I think some of you have had far better success than I have had so far. Okay, so the bigger thing is I do not agree with Social Security Administration determination and request reconsideration. My reasons are, they give you 3 lines. You do not need more than 3 lines. You probably don't even need all that. If it's a medical denial, what we simply say is the SSA failed to, and I usually include adequately obtain all of my medical evidence and properly consider it. So they did not, even if they had it all, they didn't properly consider it. Maybe they didn't properly weight it, but you don't know because you don't know. But clearly they disagree with you, so they did not properly consider your evidence that you're disabled under. So I keep it as simple as that. It is the notice of, basically we're saying the SSA screwed up below. They either didn't obtain all of my evidence or, so you're covering your butt on both sides. They failed to adequately consider my medical evidence. You don't really need to put anything more than that. And it won't help you to put anything more than that. if that is the crux of the matter. So remember, this is not a complicated thing. This is not going to be a book. This is your notice of appeal. After you get your appeal recognized, then you could start sending in whatever you want. If you learn that they didn't get XYZ, or you have new treatment records that occurred after you got your denial, and you know that they didn't even know about it because you forgot to tell them during your initial, now's the time to, I suggest you go get your evidence yourself if you don't have faith in them necessarily getting it or getting it in time, which is understandable. At least then you know what they've gotten, because you can't see in that file, like we were just talking about. I do not believe still to see what's all in there. If you have a representative, attorney or non-attorney who practices in this area rather robustly, they're going to have credentials to get in and see all of their clients' files, but you won't have that. So until they do something where claimants can see their own stuff, which they really should, but I don't know. They're very close to the vest. They're even close to the vest with us, because at initial and recon, while we can get in, and this is a blessing compared to previous years, and 2020 was a big year. At the end of 2020, during COVID, that first year of COVID, they finally got us to see 2 sections, E and F. So we could see like function report if it's been submitted and received. We can see the medical file. We can't see all the little contact things that they scooch about later. Everything, all sections, A through F, excluding C for some reason. They say we don't need it. I don't like that. We can see all that once we appeal for ALJ hearing, but they still won't let us see it before then. So the ALJ offices must have had something, I'm guessing, to do with that, where we can see, but the lower levels are still very non-transparent. And you know how we don't like non-transparency. This usually means there's something unpleasant. Okay, the next section, after you talk about your reason, which again, one-liner, guys, do not start going into your life story, period. You're doing yourself an injustice by doing that. The next section, it's kind of a big squared out section, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or Special Veterans Benefits, SSB, reconsideration only. That is only for those folks. And for those, you have the option of the 3 ways to appeal, and you pick your one: case review, informal conference, or formal conference. Generally, we do the case review because I don't know that the other 2 are, well, if they're stopping your SSI, maybe, because that can be really detrimental to your ability to survive. Maybe I would go with let's see, when formal conferences meeting is like an informal conference, but we can also get people to come in and help prove you are right. We can do this even if they do not want to help you. Ooh, that's interesting. You can question these people at your meeting. So that, I would leave that up to your discretion. In a normal case, disability, we do the case review. It is where you get to present all new, all your additional evidence, newer stuff. You'd be sending it in, fax, barcode, whatever way. We tend to upload ours because we have that access. The next section, contact information. Obviously, that's self-explanatory. Their claimant's signature is optional. Name of claimant's representative, if any. If I'm doing it for my client, and on the rare occasion I can't get in online to do it, I'll do one of these. And I do put in the claimant's information. I don't bother with his signature, because then there's going to be me on the other side, on the right, name of claimant's representative, and my address, phone number, and dates. But you, if you're pro se, would be doing the left-hand side, claimant, and I would go ahead and sign it. Why not? The bottom section after that is all for the SSA. You don't have to do anything. So you can see this is super simple. It's 1 page, and you have your name, the issue being appealed. I mean, you have all of 10 words that you need to put on this thing. So it's really easy. I will also, did I tell you? Yeah, I'll link you to the page where this comes from, which you will also see has an avenue, I think a link for if you wanted to do this online. If you can do it online, I would drive home the point that when you get your receipt, you print that out. Whether you screenshot it if that's all you can do, or you know how to print it to a PDF to your device, your computer. I know some people are just dealing with phones. I hate that. Those tiny little phones, and then people don't, they can't even fill out forms on their phone half the time. They're just not compatible with some of these PDFs. So in which case, print the thing out, or again, if you know how to take a really clear, good screenshot, or even your phone up there taking a picture, so you know what you sent in, but you also want proof of that receipt. So it'll say, thank you for appealing, or some language that confirms that they got the electronic system online got your appeal. Because you will find, or a certain percentage of us will find every time there's appeals, that sometimes it just doesn't take, even though you get that receipt. You want that receipt so you can prove that you appealed, because you need to prove you appealed within the time frame they gave you. There is no second chances with this. Short of being in the hospital in a coma, you're probably not going to get away with just cause for not filing it on time. It's very, very limited. Very. But if you prove that you did it on time, then they will say, okay, well, later on when you try to figure out, why am I not getting any appeal paperwork? What's going on? Oh, we don't have a case for you. What do you mean I appealed? We don't see that you appealed. When you send it in, and you might have to do it 10 times because they're very slow and you got to walk them by the hand sometimes. They will say, the kind of letter you'll get is, we have decided to accept your appeal out of time. Now your result is good. They're going to recognize your appeal, but they're not saying they screwed up. They're saying, we're going to accept your appeal being out of time. Well, no, my appeal was not out of time. You are out of time. What do you do? As long as you get the same result, let City Hall do its thing. As long as it's coming about your way. All right. That's it, guys. SSA 561. Do it if you want to appeal.